to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and I wonder if you've ever had the experience of feeling a bit anxious or nervous or perhaps unworthy about being around people that might be more successful, wealthier, more attractive, whatever it might be, better than you. And if so, I think you're going to get some value from this session, because I was working with a client that by any regard was incredibly successful. Top 1% of income, status in terms of their profession, successful on any metric, but they had been invited into ultra exclusive clubs with very rigorous membership criteria. And in those groups were billionaires and former prime ministers and very, very influential people and high court judges. And they were feeling a little bit of an impostor syndrome. They were feeling like, who am I to be around people like that? And they knew intellectually that they were worthy because they were invited. And yet some of the childhood conditioning was creeping in of things like, well, all people like this are like that, or who am I to belong with people like that? Essentially a double bind, which means that it would restrict their ability to make new friendships, connections, and find, new friendships perhaps, and things that could be useful based on synergy, not based on extraction. Now, if you can resonate with this, I think you're going to get some value from this session, because the structure actually involves nested loops. So I opened 3 different stories. It's the traditional way of doing nested loops rather than levels of disassociation. But the client reported they were very disassociated, and I think it came from the stories within stories within stories. And then lots of direct suggestions that challenge this idea of what it takes to be worthy, of what it takes to be able to make a judgment on someone that you don't know yet. And what would make it work? Future pacing a resource state and then bringing that into the present. So there's quite a lot going on in this session. It was created for someone else, so it might not be perfect for you, but I think there's enough here that if you feel daunted about, let's say, whether it's this idea of social climbing or being introduced to upper echelons of kind of society, or even just a group that you've not been to before, I think you'll get some value from this particular session. And if you like the idea of working directly with me rather than listening to recordings that I did for other people, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a consultation call that you get at a discounted price if you use the coupon code podcast. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in pure relaxation. And as you exhale, allow your body to release any stress, any tension. Just allow it to leave your body in that outward breath. And when you breathe in a feeling of pure resourcefulness, knowing that as you release, anything unresourceful has permission to leave. And scan your body and find any tension hiding somewhere, maybe in the tiny muscles of your forehead, around your eyelids, maybe your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, a game of hide and seek. And as you breathe in that resourcefulness, whenever you find tension, you can release it and feel it leaving your body there in the outward breath. Allow your breathing to find a rhythm, while also allowing the inward breath to be deeper and the exhale to be longer. And maybe you'll discover that the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed and resourceful you become. And as your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. A wonderful journey where your imagination can be put to use in wonderful new ways. That's it. As you find that rhythm, perhaps you can become curious about a story about a man who received an invitation to enter a magnificent old building. And the invitation carried his name, and it had been sent deliberately, and others had recommended him, and people within had agreed that he should be welcomed. Yet, as this man approached the entrance, he paused. He wondered whether the people inside would be more accomplished, more powerful, wealthier, or just somehow more deserving than he was. And he became curious about a particular question. At what moment does a new room begin to feel like a place where you belong? And he was about to discover the answer when his mind flashed back to another story about a young doctor standing outside the doors of an operating theatre. He had completed his training. His name was on the list. He had permission to enter. Yet for a moment, there was hesitation. Someone more senior noticed and asked, "What are you waiting for?" And that young doctor replied, "I'm waiting to feel as though I truly belong in there." And their senior smiled, because he had heard that question before, and so began to explain that belonging was sometimes like something he had once witnessed in an old garden, where a gardener had grafted a healthy new branch onto a mature tree. The branch had grown elsewhere, with different origins and shaped by different conditions. Yet the gardener selected it because of what it could add to the tree. And as the branch was carefully joined to that larger structure, nobody yet knew what kind of fruit it would eventually produce. And while one part of your mind may remain curious about that, another part can simply begin to drift, allowing the muscles around your eyes to soften, and your jaw to release, and your shoulders to lower. and your breathing finds that quiet, comfortable rhythm. That's it. Feeling yourself drift deeper and deeper relaxed. Because there are moments when the conscious mind can step back from analyzing, while the deeper mind begins reorganizing old ideas. Some beliefs are consciously chosen. Others, though, are simply absorbed through repetition, modeled in childhood, inherited from people whose certainty made their opinions feel like facts and truth. And a child can absorb contradictory rules without noticing the contradictions until later. Educated people might be dismissed as impractical, and wealthy people judged as undeserving. Unsuccessful people might be suspected of having gained something that they hadn't truly earned. Yet those same people could also appear powerful enough to make a younger version of you feel inadequate. A double bind. They are not worthy of my respect, and I am not worthy of standing beside them. And perhaps your unconscious mind can recognize how impossible that old position was. No amount of work could satisfy a definition of proper work if the goalpost moved, and no achievement could create belonging when the very criteria was unconsciously designed to remain unfalsifiable. And beliefs that are neither true nor useful do not need to be carried simply because they are old. And so you can respect where an old belief came from without continuing to live inside it. You can honor your history without being imprisoned by its conclusions, because you are no longer the child comparing homes. You are the adult who can examine evidence. And what if the evidence says that people are not categories, and a tribe is simply a collection of individuals? Depending on the size within any group, you will meet people who are generous and people who are guarded, people who have built extraordinary things, and people who inherited responsibility for them. There will be people you can learn from, and people who can learn from you. And what if you no longer need to decide who someone is from their title, their wealth, their position, or even just the jacket they happen to be wearing? You can simply meet the human inside that tweed jacket or expensive suit. What if curiosity can replace conclusion? Who is this person? What has shaped them? What have they learned? What matters to them? What might we discover through this conversation? And as you release the need to place them above you or beneath you, you then become free to simply meet them beside you, human to human, individual to individual, neither intimidated nor dismissive, not inferior nor superior, simply present, observant, interested, and comfortable in your own skin. Your accomplishments can be wonderful, and yet they do not make you more worthy as a human being. Your true worth is not measured in degrees and income, titles or membership. Yet your accomplishments do provide clear evidence that an invitation is no mistake. You've earned respect, credibility. You've built competency. You've developed composure in environments where precision matters. And you've accumulated knowledge across multiple disciplines. The degrees don't give you status, but they do give you knowledge, wisdom, understanding, things you've done for people, changing lives, saving lives. And you've seen people in vulnerable positions, knowing that their net worth or their lineage makes no difference in so many areas of their life. Your background are facts, and they don't need to be hidden or exaggerated. They can simply be true. And imagine if you were a genuine impostor. Isn't it true that you would not survive even a few minutes of informed attention? Because people with experience recognize substance. And they ask questions, and they observe, and they notice. And maybe that's why exclusive groups have nominations and seconders and a thorough selection process. They do not invite people accidentally. You've not forced your way through the door. You've been noticed and nominated. The invitation does not manufacture your value. It recognizes value that was already there. And if ever an old question appears, like who am I to be among people like this? Your mind already has the answer. I'm someone they chose to invite. I'm someone with something to contribute. I belong here because I was invited and then welcomed here. And you don't need to earn belonging through performance once belonging has already been offered. Just as grace precedes good works, acceptance can precede contribution. You do not contribute frantically in order to justify your presence. You take your place, accept your place, and because you feel secure in that place, your generosity flows naturally. And you can ask questions without appearing needy. And you can listen without making yourself smaller. You can share knowledge without competing for significance. You can offer an introduction, an observation, an insight, practical assistance, humor, perspective, or simple, genuine attention or curiosity. And sometimes you'll contribute, and sometimes you'll learn, and sometimes a conversation will create alchemy. Something of nothing becomes something of value that neither person could have created alone. That is synergy, not extraction or self-promotion, but what becomes possible through two capable people sharing experiences and insights and thoughts and ideas. And I wonder if you can imagine moving forward in time now to 1 year and 7 days after becoming part of this new tribe. I want you to see your posture, your facial expressions, your movement at the point where you have irrefutable evidence that you are welcomed and you do belong. Notice the physiology, the breathing, the eye contact, the comfort. And when you observe yourself with all of those resources, step into that future version of you and feel how you will feel when your posture is already calibrated. Breathe that way, feel that way. Inner dialogue is already that way. That's it. And maybe you understand in the future that proximity does have power, because familiarity dissolves fantasy. Billionaires just became individuals. The judges became individuals. Former politicians, just people. And likewise, you are an individual to them. Not a role, an outsider, a title. Just you. So notice that calibrated posture and link it to curiosity, generosity, but a sense of security that comes from belonging. Belonging in a tribe where the members have each other's backs. Able to listen, able to contribute, able to disagree respectfully, able to remain silent without disappearing, and able to speak without needing to impress. And I want you to feel that future posture, mindset, beliefs and resources travel backwards through time, all the way back from 1 year and 7 days in the future to now, in the moment. Feel that way now. And I want you to feel on a key day of being introduced, first day of walking through a door, of sitting in a particular chair, that feeling of 1 year and 7 days from now will instantaneously return. You will feel a sense of comfort because the future version of you is gifting it to you when you need it most. You'll walk in with the posture of the version of you that has already been there for a year. Not pretending to know everyone, and not concealing that you are new. Simply knowing that being new is not the same as being unworthy. Because every established member was once new, and every familiar room was once unfamiliar. Every tribe was new before it felt like home. And just feel that you can bring those 3 simple qualities with you: curiosity, generosity, and self-respect. That's it. And I want you to feel how you would feel to return to that old garden where the healthy branch had been grafted onto the mature tree. When the gardener returned the following year, he discovered the branch had not lost its origins. It had not betrayed the place from which it came. It had simply accepted nourishment from a larger system and contributed something new in return. And the fruit that grafted branch produced was unlike anything else on that tree. And that difference was precisely why it had been chosen. And the young doctor, standing outside the operating theatre, began to understand. The senior said, "You will not feel that you belong and then enter. You enter because you have trained, because you've been selected, because you have something to contribute. The feeling catches up with the evidence." And so the young doctor looked at their name on the list, recognized that permission had already been granted, adjusted their posture, and stepped through the doors. And that brings us back to the man holding the invitation outside the magnificent old building, looking again at his own name, realizing that the invitation could not give him worth, because worth was never held inside a building. He could only recognize that he was someone worth inviting, and so finally discovered the answer to the question: at what moment does a new room become a place where you belong? The moment you stop asking the room to determine your worth, when you accept the invitation and enter as yourself, curious, generous, calm, and equal, ready to discover the individuals within the tribe, and ready to allow them to discover you. And as you observe that man entering the building, I want you to notice a particular posture that seems worthy and calibrated. And as you hold that thought, it's time to return all the way to the present with new thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and a newfound sense of worthiness. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10, to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.